Okay, perfect. I think Rania, you can go ahead. Can you share your screen?
Okay, just a minute.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Nice
Hello.
to be here today. And okay, just a minute. Just so yeah. Hi, and nice to see you today again. And I hope this will be like completing the first session about open access. And I will try to provide you in this one with different things like definitions of who is an author in a paper, for example, and how give you some guidelines on how to select a journal to publish your intellectual output, and how during doing so to avoid predators, because there is this there are lots of predatory academic activities, and then how to license your intellectual output, best ways to license it. And then I will share with you some toolkits. Some of them were developed by us during a project, and others are available online. So this is the summary of what's going to go on during this session. But at first, and as a warm-up, as usual, I want each one of you to go to this link. I will take you, I will give you the link in the chat. And to answer the questions there using the voting code. Just like last time, for those who were with us last time, for the newcomers, it's a website where you can like add your opinion or whatever, and we can see it live, you know. Can you see my screen? I can't see the chat. Just a minute.
Yeah,
Here we
yeah,
go.
we can. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So in the chat, you will find a link and a voting code. So please go there, and we're here to help you. The question is, how do you define an author? If you're writing a paper for publishing and you have wrote it, somebody has conceptualized the ideas, somebody has analyzed the data, someone has given you the samples, someone has guided you, someone has done nothing but just his name or her name will make the publication more easier in good papers, in good journals. So how do you define an author? Who is an author in your paper? Just add a couple of words or a word to define an author for you. Are you there? If you have any problem, just let us know and we will help you solve it. This is the screen you should see, the Mentimeter. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you just need to enter the code I gave you in this box and join.
Actually, I don't know if it's the same experience for everyone, but the link like directly takes you to the.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to this screen if I gave you the other link, the link from last session, or you can use the direct one and then you're there. And when you add your definition, just you need to submit your answer. Okay. When you do voting, like you enter a word in the first box up there. If you wish to add another word or a third word, each box gives you the chance to add 25 up to 25 characters, and then you set submit, and we will see the responses immediately live. Yeah, one who has created new W. If you can just elaborate, what do you mean by W? Like new what? Okay, data collector.
I can see that only 2 people are in the mentee.
4
So
now.
4,
5.
okay, good.
Yeah, we're going.
That's good.
Yeah, we're going there.
It's
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
So if anyone has an issue accessing the mentee, then you could just let us know.
Yeah. Sure. Any more ideas about who's an author? He's a data collector. Oh, okay, good. 8. Yep. Any other responses? More? I need more 5 more responses. I think we are 17. No, not 5. Maybe 3.
And it's been
Which
on that streak for so long.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I will copy Gregory's response because he has bad connection. He said that author is involved in the design and implementation. Design and implementation. Okay. Any other responses? Shall we move on?
Yeah, I think we could move on.
Perfect. Okay. So if you can see the immediate responses, can you see this screen that shows your results? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. The majority of the responses says that an author is the writer. Okay, there are some other contributors like designs, the experiments, design and implementation of the experiment itself, or who has other contributions like documentation or involved in the design or in the experiment or writing together with the author, the other author, or he's the principal investigator, or he's a contributor. This is a big one. I mean, underneath it, there are several definitions. Or he or she has developed a protocol or intercepted data or collected data. Okay, so I will take you through the accepted credit taxonomy. Have you ever heard about credit taxonomy of who an author is? Sorry for that. Have anyone heard about the credit taxonomy?
I think in the chat we have no.
No? All right.
Yeah.
No.
So let's go and have a look at what credit means. And this is the acceptable taxonomy that defines who is a contributor in a paper. Okay. So to be a contributor, you could have done any of the 14 roles I will take you through. This is the website that had developed the contributor roles taxonomies. It's creditnizu.org, and I will copy it to the chat for you to have it. And when these 14 roles are, if you had conceptualized the design, the idea of the research, or you have curated the data, or have conducted formal analysis, or have acquisitioned funding for the research itself, if you are involved in investigations or developing the methodology or administrating the project itself, if you provided resources, if you develop software, if you supervise the work, if you have validated data as well, if you had helped in visualization, like building maps, for example, for GIS coordinates for someone who's collecting snakes, for example, that could be an author. Writing the original draft, or writing and reviewing and editing the draft itself. And to take you to this simplified summary or graphic that I created to make it a little bit easier for you to understand the roles for who is an author, who can be part of your publication as an author. Using credit taxonomy, the conceptualization means the idea formulation or evolution of systems. So anybody who's involved in idea formulation or evolution of systems is an author. Writing the original draft, and this normally is done by the researcher who have done the experiments, this is also an author. He should be, or she should be, part of the authors. The visualization, whether you prepared data for visualization or presented them in a conference, for example, you're an author, or you helped in the visualization by preparing the graphics and the maps and things like that, you are an author. The formal analysis, and this means statistical analysis, population genetics analysis, whatever type of analysis you need to conduct to or carry on to provide the last, data that is being shown or presented to others, this, you are an author. If you help during the data curation, like annotating data, scrubbing raw data, maintaining the data, you are an author. The methodology, if you develop the methodology, protocols in the lab, you are an author for sure. If you provisioned resources like giving materials for the project, like providing reagents, laboratory samples, things like that, you are an author. If you supervise the work itself, you are an author. If you provided, like wrote the proposals, got the funding, you are an author. If you helped in the investigations itself in the laboratory or in the field, you are an author. If you helped in the validation of the data and verification of it, you are an author. And if you administered the project itself, you are an author. And if you develop, if it's a software, if you implemented the software, you're an author. If you tested the codes, if you supported, given support, technical support, if you helped in the programming, if you in the development, in the designing of the software itself, you are an author. Writing, reviewing, editing, you are an author. So credit is a high-level taxonomy. It includes 14 roles, and each role has its own sub-roles. And everybody who had contributed during any of these paths is an author, okay? So this is very important. And you will see it if you're submitting, for example, to say Biomed Central or PLOS or whatever type of journals, they will ask you who had done what. You need to like say X and Y have conceptualized the project. Z and X had wrote the manuscript. This and that has done this and that. So this is how you define an author. Is it okay up to now? Hello.
Yeah, I think it's good.
All right.
We have a raised hand, but maybe we
Sure.
could leave the questions. Okay.
I love to take it immediately.
Okay.
Okay,
So, Banjo,
Yeah.
you have your
Thank
hand
you.
raised. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. I want her to explain that area of administration. If you're involved in administration and you are son and author, that area is not clear. What do you mean by somebody involved in administration is also an
Okay.
author? Thank you.
All right. You're definitely welcome. It's not administration in the means of like CU or executive or whatever like that. No. What I mean, a researcher who is responsible for allocating the resources, doing this and that in the lab with the people. He is or she is a researcher working with you, but they have the responsibility of administering the project. And writing, editing, conducting experiments in the lab, things like that, they are authors. Is it clear now?
Thank you.
You're
Clear.
welcome. You're welcome. And now I think I will move to selecting a journal. Okay. So to select a journal, there are several criteria, and I will give you this checklist. Okay, and I will share it with you just like last time. I will send it later on for you. The checklist, it has a lot of details, but I will take you through the headlines. Like, and it's based on a paper published in Nature, and I'm bringing the link. I'm actually giving you the link for more details here. You can read the article. The criteria is like this. Is it scientifically rigor the journal? When you have a look at the journal and the content, have you read the text before? Have you read papers? Do you know or have you heard about people submitting work to that journal? Is the scientific work rigor? Is the editorial quality good enough? Like, do they say we are adopting this editorial plan or that plan? Is it it could be open review planned? Is it peer reviewed, the process? Are you sure of that? Do they send the manuscripts to reviewers to read them and comment on them or not? And you can see from the issues published, like if there are lots of mistakes, not just grammatically, but scientifically wrong information, then this article has not been sent to reviewers. Is the journal ethical? Do they have ethics? Do they mention ethics in their guidelines, for example? What about the editorial board members? I will tell you a story here. A couple of months ago, my sister, who is a surgeon, received an email asking her to contribute to a journal, and she sent me the email, and I checked it. I went to the editorial board members. None of them belonged to the medical field at all. Some of them were from the environmental sciences backgrounds. Some of them their CVs were fishy, you know. So just by looking at the editorial board, I told her to stay away, just run, don't submit anything there. Again, look at the reputation. Do they have a reputation? What about the business model? Are there open access journals proper, or are there predators? And I will take you through that journey. We will check how to check whether they are predators or not. Do they mention your rights as an author and the copyrights in the guidelines, or doesn't they? Are the journal, or is the journal indexed? What about their indexing status? In which databases? This is important. Do they have impact factor scores? This is not, from my point of view, this is not a very important one, but it may lead you to some ideas about the status of the journal you're submitting to. Because I feel like impact factors are biased, you know, impact factors are calculated based on years of publishing, okay? It starts calculations after 5 years online. When you're 5 years published, then they will start calculating the impact factor. And it's business, basic business. You get higher impact factors when you are an older publication, and that's biased. Okay, if you get me, it's kind of a biased one. And what about the journal operations itself? Do they like deposit your work somewhere that anyone can reach it whenever they want to? Are the articles decaying after long times? Do they have the capacity to maintain the articles 10 years, say 5 years ahead? What about their archiving methods? What about their DOI, the persistent identifiers? Do they give an article a persistent identifier, DOI? Things like that may give you some idea about the journal itself and about how it ranks, whether it's a genuine scholarly publication or it's not. This is an important, I think, one to consider. Okay, so if you have any question regarding the criteria here, and I will go again, and I'll take you again through another toolkit to consider the criteria about the journals and reference conferences as well. The other toolkit is this one. It's called open. It's about if you wish to publish. The first one was about if you wish to publish an article in a journal, how to check the journal. The second one will take you through the process, the journey, if you wish to publish an open access journal, you know. So this second one is a toolkit developed by OA. It's Open Access Journals toolkit by a Dutch firm. And it takes you through the process of how you can explore starting an open access journal at your institution, for example, how to run it and how to index it, and these things, and give you some idea about the platforms you can use. You can download the toolkit itself. And this is basically for those of you who are interested in publishing an open access journal, not an article, okay? So this is a tool for publishing open access journals that you can use if you wish to do so. So how can I license what I have produced? And why to license right from the beginning? Why to license my work? Do you have any idea? Why do we need to license our output? Anyone? Maybe in the chat, if you wish.
Good morning, all. I think licensing is important in order to avoid misuse of your work, your publication. Yes.
Totally agree. Okay, so we need to license because you need to prevent others from using or misusing your intellectual output or using it another way than you have intended. In addition to this, the reuse rights differs or varies geographically from location to other. So you need to like set, these are my conditions to use or reuse my or our intellectual output. And that will like reserve your rights. But before licensing, before you go this step ahead, you need to check certain obligations. So say, for example, you got funded from, say, Wellcome Trust or whatever funding agency or agents, and they have their own obligations in the contract you have signed with them. You need to reread your contracts and to check the obligations first. Again, the data repository obligations, they have their own guidelines and obligations that you need to abide by them before licensing as an individual. The third thing to take into consideration before licensing is your institutional policy. The majority of policy institutions all over the globe has their own institutional policies regarding publishing and licensing the intellectual output produced by the members or the faculty or researchers belonging to them. So you need to make sure you're not like overseeing this. Okay. The fourth thing in the checklist to take care of is the country or location obligations, because in certain territories, the data is considered like security something. And if you like license it individually as an at an individual basis, uploaded it in a repository, you might be like you had crossed the line. Okay, so you need to be very sure about the obligations, the country location, the data itself when collected from another geographical location and things like that. You need to be very sure about what you're doing. The types of licenses available are different, but they can be categorized into two main categories. You can license a software and its documentation, or you can license a non-software product or intellectual output. And these types of licenses are completely different. All of them, both of them has different types of licenses. Software and documentation has a lot of different licenses available. Non-software licenses, for example, you produced a paper talking about a new, say, for example, insecticide. That's about patency and licensing at the same time. But if you had like made a new chair, okay, more comfortable, healthier or whatever, then you have a hardware license, okay, it's available. Or if you're interested in fonts, computer fonts, for example, and you have developed a new font, there is a license for that. Okay, so you need to know the different types of licenses and which one suits your product more than the other, and to select the best license for your job. You can use many resources, but I love this one. You know, this link, I will give you access to it. It's called Choose a License. Can you see this website? Do you see it?
Yeah, yes.
So Choose a License gives you an idea about different types of licenses. As I had already mentioned, all of the ones in the beginning of this page are actually for software and documentation, like the GNU, LGP, LV3, different ones with permissions, conditions, and limitations. The Mozilla public license, the Apache license, the MIT license, and different ones. If you go downwards, okay, if you're not licensing a software, where can I go? Mine is not like for a software. Then I will go to the homepage. The homepage will show you this simple graphic saying if you want to work in a community, then you can use this type of license. If you want it simple and permissive, then you can use these ones. And if you care about sharing and improvements, you can use these ones. But what if you don't need any of the three of them? My project isn't a software, then it will take you to another page that shows you different types of licenses for other types of intellectual output. Like if it's a data media, like video, if it's a documentation, if it's a font, if it's a hardware, if it's a mixed projects, and etc., etc. And normally for research output, we prefer, if it's an open thing, we prefer the CC BY share alike license or CC01. These are the best for data and openly accessed publications if you wish to publish things openly. And I have some other information in the information section, like Forced Open Science, the project. It provides you with different definitions and useful tools to understand different types of um, licenses and different to understand more about open access, who's an open access author, open initiative accelerator, licensing as well, and everything. So you can have resources in Foster Open. You can go to OSF Open Science Forum and check the licensing document there about why you need to license your work, your obligations, the checklist, the licenses, different types of licenses, how to select a license using choose a license as well. Licensing resources are available here as well. It's a huge document with lots of useful information that you can use. And if you wish to not license your work, what are the description for that and how you can do that? What are the consequences as well? What is an academic free license, for example? So you can have different types of information that will lead you towards choosing the best type of license that will suit your work, your intellectual output. And if you have any questions regarding the licenses, it's the time now to ask, because I'm going to talk about the predatory academic activities after we take another question from the mentee. Any question?
Yeah, I think Musa's hand is raised. So Musa, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Say again, please.
Okay, thank you very much for very useful information. And my question is, sometimes we are asked to upload data sets for our manuscript. And my question is, is there any possibility where we can store our data set, or can we store in Foster Open Science, or are there any free website or areas where we can store our raw data? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Normally here, before uploading or depositing your data, ask yourself some questions. Is it really useful to upload a raw data set? Do you wish to upload it? Then if you wish to upload it and it's useful and it has no information that causes ethical questions, like whether it's a human sample data that someone might be identified later on and they don't want to be identified. If you have the consent, the consent forms from the participants that they doesn't mind their data being online, because this is personal again, and ethics issues might interfere here. So you have considered all these and you wish to upload the data in a repository. Yeah, there are repositories that you can use as platforms to upload your data, but I'll take you through that journey in our third and fourth session, because these are the sessions dedicated for talking about these databases. There is this data, I will just give you a little bit of like a hint or a tester, you can call it. There is this database called Africa Archive. This is a repository developed for Africans and for African databases, data sets, and intellectual output. And it is concerned about all that is produced about Africa in Africa by Africans or non-Africans. So you can use that repository to upload your data set. And it has different like communities, we call them, or collections, like certain data. For example, if you were working during the COVID-19 time and you got funding from certain agencies, then there is a certain collection that you should submit to your data if you wish to add it, and if it's ethically not problematic to upload the data. Okay. In there are also other repositories that you can use to upload datasets, PowerPoint presentations, conference papers, publications, books, book chapters, whatever you think of, different types of repositories. And I will take you through a journey through that type of depositing in the next session and the last one. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're definitely welcome. Any other question, please? Or comment? Okay, there is something in order to retain the patency of the work, I think. Okay, to retain the patency of the work and to acquire patent for your work. These two, are they comments or questions? Ernest and Paul.
They were comments to your previous question
Right.
about
Okay.
why we need to license. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the comments. Shall I take you through the last section of today's session, if there's no other question?
Yes, I think we could go ahead.
Okay. So the last part is about predatory activities. And what is a predatory activity? Do you know? Have you ever heard about predatory activities? Predatory academic activities or practices? Anyone, please?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead, please. Ashud.
yes. A predatory activity, to my own understanding, is that they are not real. Authorized or accredited publishers that could really, publish journals or like conferences whereby you see the invitation, but at the end of the day, nothing goes, and they don't really have the DOI, and they are not really accredited. So whatever an individual is doing there is just doing it, and because it has really happened to me 3 or 4 years ago, whereby 2 of my papers up till now cannot be traced. And I called them, I reported severally up to now. And, since I've published that paper there, they showed it on their website. And up to now, I couldn't trace all my works. And there is no how I can reproduce it or republish it. So they are, to me, I don't want to use fake publishers, but they are not original, not really accredited. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing, Paul. Yeah, definitely. It's a terrible experience, and you're not alone. I just want you to know that you're not alone. A lot of the people, a lot of researchers, especially from Africa, has been through that. Khadija, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. In addition to what he has just said, I think predatory also includes a situation whereby people just come together and they ask for papers to be sent to them, but they are not proper publishers, and they don't go through the proper review process before they can actually publish the paper. So in other words, they don't make the paper go through the regular routes that it should, but all they're after is just to be out there and to make money from people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think another one was raising a hand. Someone else? Anyone? Any other participant wish to define what's predatory activities for them? Okay, so I think I will go ahead. Thank you very much for Paul and Khadija. You have definitely nailed it, predatory publishers had actually started scamming the researchers using the open access as a tool to do so. The open access it's been developed by scientists, researchers for themselves to publish um, proper scholarly articles that has been peerly reviewed, that has gone through the proper steps to be published, but differently from the classical one in the aspect that the business model is different. It's just the business model, not the process. So for an open access article to be published, as an author, you submit the article or the manuscript. The editor, the handling editor will check it, that it abides by the regulations and the guidelines, and then they will send it to peer reviewers, and they should be from their field, and they should be experts in their field, and they will do the commenting and edit and reviewing, send it back to the author, and this might take different times, like you do the amendments, they might ask to see it again or not, and then finally it will get published. The time might not be as long as for the classical ones, but it might take up to 2 months or 3 months. It depends on the journal and its model. But the process is rigor and ethical, okay? The predatory publishers are just those people had collectively set a website, a fake one. Normally, what I realized or observed personally, they are flashy and lots of colors in the backgrounds and lots of boxes that flashes and do this and that. And then if you check the ISSN number in the portal, you might not find the number is registered as an ISSN, proper ISSN number, or you might find it as well. Excuse me. The second thing, the addresses. When they send you an email or ask you, or when you check the website itself, the address might not be a real one. And if you ask someone, for example, living in the USA, whether this address is true or not, they will tell you this is a grocery, for example, shop or supermarket, or this is not even an office, okay? Or this don't even exist, and they are faking also their names. They will contact you using names like John, Brenda, and names like that, putting addresses in islands in the middle of the ocean to give you just the sense that they are Caucasians living in the United States of America or in UK or wherever, while they are yeah, sorry, while they are literally living somewhere, a lot of them living in some village in India. Okay, they will ask you about submitting APCs, article processing charges, and normally the access processing charges they are asking for are $100, $200, something very cheap, and you will think, okay, that's better. I can publish here using cheaper than if publishing in PLOS, for example, for $1,000 and something or $3,000. And they will write you an email that might convince you to submit your research to them. And if you have done so, you have lost it. That's it, end of story. They will publish it in their website, but they doesn't have the operational capacity to maintain your article. If you add this article into your CV and you apply it for a job, the employer will see you, down regard your experiences and your expertise because you have published in a predatory journal. It's a predatory entity, and normally it hurts your CV. It doesn't promote you, except in countries where people doesn't know the difference between predatory and scholarly publishing. So a couple of years ago, in 2022, we obtained funding from the Interacademy Partnership to raise awareness about predatory academic practices. This project was the partners were the Sudanese National Academy of Sciences, SNAS. This was the academy that received the funding, and the partners were the academy itself, I myself from the University of Khartoum, and my colleague, Professor Rafiq from University of Bahri in Sudan. And we decided to produce tools to help researchers like us, because we have seen it among our colleagues that people will fall in the trap. People will publish and lose efforts of several years to predators and to predatory academic activities. So we have developed tools and we have developed courses in 2 languages, in Arabic as our official language in Sudan, and in English for our colleagues in Sudan and outside Sudan to make use of the tools themselves. And the tools are available for free for you to use online. And I will take you through a journey through these 3 tools. And the course was online up to the war in the April 15th, that started April 15th, 2023 in Sudan. But due to infrastructure destruction in my country, we have lost the course in these servers, but we are reloading them, uploading them in another server outside the country, and it will be available soon. And I will share with you the link to the course when it's available. Now, what we have done is we created 3 tools. The first one is for you to like estimate or detect your knowledge about academic practices. This is a pre-training questionnaire, and it's designed to determine your knowledge, as I said earlier, and you will find the questions in it, and every section is in English and Arabic because it was developed for people who speak English or Arabic. Okay. And we wanted to collect some demographic data in the beginning about the academic status, the university you belong to, your discipline or field. And then when you go through the form, it's kind of an educative form. It was built to be an educative questionnaire. It's not just a questionnaire for us to collect data. It's for you to learn more. It's for you to understand what predatory activities are. The second one was a shorter one. It's for you to just detect whether the conference that you have been invited to participate in is an academic predatory activity or practice or not. And we set very short questions for you to answer, and each question has been given a number numerated. Okay, and just and when you finish the questionnaire itself, then you have a result. So your score, if it was 0, then it's a scholarly journal that you can safely publish in. If the score was between 3 and 13, then the journal is a predatory one, and you should not you should avoid it. And if it equals less than 3, then it's a suspicious journal, avoid it as well. This is the kind of questionnaires we try to develop. And we ask you questions like this. Your name, if you wish to add it, your email, if you wish to add it, but the required answers are journal title. If the title includes certain names, then just avoid it. The website, because the website will give you an indicator about it. Answer the following questions and then it will get scored. And when you reach the website, the information about the physical location of the publisher, are there misleading claims about peer review practices? Did you see fake impact factors like something called index Copernicus, fabricated impact factor, for example? Are there false claims to indexing, like when you check them in indexing, in indexes, did you find the name of the journal or not? Are there false claims of membership in industry organizations? For example, they claim they are a member of the Committee on Publication Ethics, COP, but when you went to COP website, you didn't find them. These are false claims. Is there a misrepresentation of the editorial board, like I said earlier? And I will try it here to show you something. I will just check like at random. And yeah, we will see the results. Are there retraction policies? Is it registered in the DOAJ? And I will talk about it later on in next sessions. Does it lack transparency? Okay, and I will say like, yeah, submit. The name, International Journal. International Journal, normally it's fake one of science, say for example. Okay, and let's check the score. Your response has been recorded, view the score. It got 5/13, and that means it's what? It is a predatory journal that I need to avoid it. You know, you can just use this tool. The other one is also built around the same concept, but for conferences, because there are fake conferences, predatory ones. They collect your money. It's not a proper conference. And there are fake also awards, and they will ask you to like give your name to them, give them 300, say for example, dollars to get the award. I will just show you one of them, the name of one of the fake awards. You know, this is the course itself, but you will find it online when when we finish uploading it into the new server. I will just show you some slides, okay? Showing you the awards, like the World Championship 2019. Okay, like World Data Center in Rajasthan.
Rania, are you speaking?
This is recorded.
Ah, okay.
This is the course because you know what? It's recorded. The course is actually made into videos. I'm taking you into my raw course materials just to see some example of fake awards. Also predatory awards. You need to pay them $300 or something to get yeah, you know, like to get the prize, and it's actually money for them. It's predatory, and people should be very careful there. And yeah, last thing is to take the Menti. If you wish to go to Menti, please. This is my last slides. The same link I've sent earlier with the code. Yes, Lemis. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you need the link again?
We could just re-paste it in the chat.
Okay.
No problem. Because some people joined a bit late, so
Okay.
okay, yeah. So here it is, and here is also the code in case it asks you to put in a code.
So the questions here are, is there anything you wish we talk about more or less? For the newcomers, you just enter a word and press submit button, and the answer will immediately appear for us to see it.
A big no. So I think you covered everything.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, order of authors. I think this is an issue that all of us have faced.
The order of authors.
Yeah, yeah.
This has to do with who had done what.
Yeah.
Okay. So normally the one who had done the lab work and wrote the draft or the original manuscript, this is the first author. Normally, if unless there are other like things, the one who had supervised the work is the last author. Okay, and the in-between ones are decided by the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the this is the way it's supposed to be, I guess, but
Yeah.
not all the time, I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
It happens, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There are lots and lots of like misconduct, like supervisors writing their names as first authors.
Exactly.
Like juniors getting kicked out.
Yes, yes.
And
Seen
that's
that a
very
lot.
sad. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a statistician being paid money not to be part of the publication. It depends, really.
Yeah.
Maybe the statistician wished to get the money and he doesn't or she doesn't wish to be an author.
Yeah.
So it depends on the situation, on the agreements. But the most like classical thing is supervisor is the last, or the leader of the group is the last author. The first author is the one who have done the work in the lab and wrote the manuscript, the original draft.
Yeah.
So this is the order of author. Genuine journals, I'll take you through that next session. Predatory journals, I had shared with you today some tools to detect them. And to know more about them, I will share with you the link to the course when we finish uploading it. And this will be very soon, inshallah. And then you can take the course and I will be available to answer any question after taking the course. It's free of charge for life online. The impact factor and its reliability, I may touch on it in the next sessions as well. How to get published. This is a big one. I will try to answer it in our next sessions. The high impact journals, Yeah, I have a problem with impact factors. I'm trying to be honest here, because of the business model behind it. But I will take you through that as well. Types of licenses, I try to touch on it because time is not that much. We normally do this kind of work in like 4 hours, but that will be too much for you and me as well. So I try to like touch on things to give you some guidelines. And you can choose the license to know more about how to choose the appropriate license for your output. If not reliable, what are? I can't understand this one. If you can let me know. What do you mean exactly? Are you talking about the journals or what exactly? If you can just elaborate on that, please. Yes, please. Go ahead, Dr. Banjo.
Thank you. My question is on your last statement on position of authors, starting
Okay.
from the person, the first author and the last author.
Mhm.
Is that the internationally accepted positioning, or it
Okay.
varies? Because it's not what runs in my own institution.
Mhm.
In my own institution, it's completely the reverse, 100%. The main, the principal investigator, or we call the supervisor, comes first, because in your promotion, in anything they are going to, decide on, it is called, and whoever comes first is assumed to be the most senior, the original, the this and that, and you have scored the highest points. So I'm trying to find out if it is internationally accepted, so that we start discussing, we start propagating it among the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing that on. Yeah, this is the globally accepted classification or contributor's position in an application. Normally, the principal investigator or the supervisor is the leader of the group, and he or she is the last author. And the juniors who had conducted the work, the experiments or the field work or whatever in the lab and had they should write the original draft are the first authors. But in certain cases, this might have to do with arrangements, different arrangements, like say, for example, the supervisor who has been in the field, has collected the samples, had done the DNA extraction, for example. The student has just run the PCR, for example, and the gels. And before doing this, they had set things like the supervisor will be the first author, and you will be inside the group, and the other supervisor or the other co-PI or whoever would be the last one. This is an arrangement inside the group. Nobody has anything to do with it. And people accepted it. This is okay. There's no problem. But if I am a principal investigator and I will write my name as a first author just because I want to get promoted, this is not fair. And in the course I'm talking about that we will finish uploading in a couple of days when we will share it with you, the links, we have touched on that as well. Like what are the fair principles for promotion? Like but we have touched on the promotion from the context of the predatory, practices, but we might like add something to that. Like who is the first author? The first author is the one who has done the majority of the work, and the majority of the work is actually the work in the lab and writing the draft. So this is the one who had done the work. They should be the first author. But again, it depends on your circumstances really and your arrangements. But I myself, I think it's not ethical to write the supervisor as the first author just to get promoted. This is not ethical and not fair to the juniors who have done the work, conducted the work itself. This is my personal view of what's happening based on a lot of experiments and experiences also. Is that okay, Dr. Banjo?
Sorry, there's a little bit of noise, but then I agree with what you have said. But let's look at this typical scenario that goes on in our institutions in most part of Africa. You are doing research, a lot of students are involved, the students are involved in the research. Somebody is collecting data on this, somebody is collecting data on that, somebody is collecting data on this other part, and you are bringing everything together, and you as a principal investigator or as a supervisor is putting all the data together, and you are drafting, you are making the draft, you are writing, you are doing this and all those stuff. So who now becomes the first author? Because
In
you
this
have about 4
scenario,
or 5 students who have collected data
in this
on different
scenario,
parts of the work. Thank you.
Sorry for interrupting you. In this scenario, when the principal investigator is conducting the majority of the work, it's okay. Yeah, they are the first authors. But if the student or the juniors are doing the majority of the work, then that's their right to be the first authors. It depends on the work you have done already, you know, and there's no like strict guidelines there. The classical thing is the supervisor or the principal investigator is the last author, and the juniors are the first. This is the classical. But in different settings, in different arrangements, it should be as appropriate as it suits both parties. Is it okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Now, clearly understood.
Yeah, thank you very much. There was a hand.
Yeah, Daniel, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much for this important topic, but I only wanted to add some more questions on the same topic of authorship. Because at my institution, it looks like most of the authors, I mean, when you are the head of department, you are taken as an author. Is that appropriate?
What does the head do? The head department?
Nothing, apart from just being head of the department. I've done some of the research areas in which the head of department would like to be an author. So I'm not sure if that is ethical.
That isn't ethical. I'll be very honest here. It's not ethical. It's not fair. But if it will, look, we live in Africa, okay?
Yes.
And if it will damage your career in the future, then you either collectively stand against this, like all the people say, no, if you didn't do this, we will not put you as an author, because in credit classification, the author should be one of the 14 roles only. Like you can share it in among the colleagues. Like these are the people who are defined as authors. So whoever had done nothing in one of these roles cannot be an author. And let people like adopt it in the department and in the faculty, in the institution. They need to adopt the credit classification and taxonomy, because this is the acceptable taxonomy in the current times. You know, like you need to have this movement started. Like, who is an author? How can you define an author? Who is a contributor? You need to do this in the departments. And all of us know sometimes it will be very difficult in the beginning, but with time and with gaining trust of people around you, you can do it. You can do it. I'm 100% positive. Okay, but very sharp answer and clear answer to this, like the head department wants to be an author just because he or she is a head department, that isn't ethical. It's not.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other question?
I think there is just one more question in the chat, and then because we've taken so much of your time, Rania,
no worries,
it's from Gargiro. I hope I pronounced it right, but it's the impact factor. If they are not reliable, what would be the indication for a good journal?
I'm not saying it's not reliable. It is reliable. I have a problem with the business model. You know, impact factors are business, and people are actually gaining lots of money from this business. So my concern is ethical, and it's about ethics and about the business behind the impact factor and the time it takes a new journal in the global in the south, the south, global south, to get an impact factor. This is tough, you know, even if you live in South Africa, which is not considered a south, it's not global south. This is biased. It's a biased world. There are lots of misconducts, and there's lots of bias in that field. That's my problem with the impact factor. It takes 5 years to start getting the impact factor and the calculations, and it's a big time business. If you're interested, I can devote some of one of the next sessions to talk about impact factors in details.
Yeah, I think that might be something, because it's an issue that we can see a lot. And as Emmanuel just also posted, is that there's also alternative metrics that are being adopted in open science. And yeah, there are many organizations like DORA and CORA. They are, they're trying to promote more more important metrics than impact factor. But yeah, I think it's a very important topic.
Yeah, I think I was one of the people who were who had answered Dora's questions regarding this a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. The matrix itself, I was involved in that. So maybe we can talk about other matrices.
Maybe.
Yeah, and we can talk about why the impact factor should not be given this huge impact that it has now. Yeah. So yeah, Joseph, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. My question is about this. You have said that the validator is not an author. But when I consider academic situation where dissertations are validated by professors, they are taken as a co-author of a dissertation. How can you explain this, please?
No, sorry, you said I said the validator is not a co-author? No.
No, author in a document, in a journal or in a dissertation, I suppose.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't hear all of it.
The question is that when we take academic situation where dissertations are validated by professors, because when a student submitted a dissertation, we have some professor who has to validate the document before this can be published in a repository or anywhere. But these authors are taken as co-authors, because when we want to describe the biographic notice of a document, we take these authors, these professors as authors, as co-authors of a document. I don't know if you understand my question.
There's someone talking. So if I got you clear, Joseph.
Yes.
You're talking about the dissertation and the thesis. When a student do the work, the supervisor correct and evaluate it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so both are authors, but who is the first author and who's the last? Here, there's no problem. The problem arises when you have like 10 authors or 5 or 3 even. Who should go where? But here it's X and Y. So, and it depends on the amount of the work conducted by whom. The first one will be the one who had done the majority of the work, and the second one.
So the student is the first author of the document.
Yeah, the student is the first author in this document.
Yes.
Okay, if it's a thesis, then it's by X, by the student, underneath it supervised by Y. Okay. But if it's a paper, if they wish to publish the graduation project in a paper in a journal, for example, who is the first author? The first author here is the one who had conducted the majority of the work. And what do I mean by conducting the majority of the work? If the student has done the lab work or the field work only and didn't write the manuscript or didn't analyze the data, are they the first author or the last author if the supervisor has analyzed the data, wrote the manuscript, reviewed it, submitted it, and everything? Here, the author he's the one who has conducted the majority of the work, and in this case, it's the supervisor. But if the student has done the work in the lab or in the field, analyzed the data, wrote the manuscript, the draft, and the supervisor has revised it and reviewed it and edited it, then the first author is the student. And the last author is the supervisor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. And I just wish you, if you can just like answer the question on your screens, if you go to Menti again, your knowledge about open access now, did it improve or didn't change, or you don't know? And by that, I just like, thank you very much for being here. And again, we took 22 minutes from your times. I apologize for that. But I
think we were enjoying it very much. I'm more concerned of your time. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, the discussion is really wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So if all of us could go and answer the last mentee question about what do you think about your knowledge right now regarding open access? Is it improved, didn't change, or you don't know?
Can you resend the link, please?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's very interesting that I see there's a great need to discuss more about authorship.
Yeah.
And it's really eye-opening to see so many issues happening. Yeah, it's only one link, Joseph, and it has all the questions in it. So I think 8 people answered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for now, if you've answered and you don't have any more questions, then you're free to leave the meeting. And if not, please answer the question.
And I thank you so much for staying with us.
Yeah. Almost half an hour more.
Yeah.
It's how rich the discussion was. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for making it an interactive one, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, I can see 14 answered. That's good. Almost all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, Rania, thank you for your time. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much.
Thank you very much, and see you next time. All.
See you next
Take
time.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rania. Thank you,
Thanks. Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I will end the meeting for everyone and see you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.